Have you ever thought about whether the way you speak to your doctor might affect your care? Many seniors go through this without realizing that their communication during appointments can have a big impact. I'm not talking about fancy medical terms or knowing every detail about your health history. I'm talking about small everyday habits in conversation that can quietly work against you. The truth is, the words you choose, the tone you use, and the way you share your concerns can shape the quality of the care you receive. And here's the part most people overlook: doctors can only work with what you give them. If the information isn't clear, complete, or direct, even the best physician can miss something important. This isn't about blaming yourself or thinking you've done something wrong. Most seniors pick up these habits without even noticing, and many of them come from a lifetime of trying to be polite, not wanting to complain, or assuming that certain issues are just part of getting older. But when it comes to your health, those little conversational patterns can have big consequences. You might miss out on treatment options, delay an important diagnosis, or walk away without truly understanding your next steps. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 ugly truths about how older adults sometimes speak at the doctor's office, things you may be doing without realizing it, and how they can quietly harm your health. We'll explore what these habits look like, why they happen, and what you can do instead to make sure you're truly heard, respected, and cared for. Stay with me until the end, because the last one is something even the most careful and thoughtful patients often get wrong, and fixing it could change every future appointment you have. If you find this useful, please subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos. Downplaying or minimizing symptoms. Downplaying or minimizing symptoms is one of the most common yet dangerous habits many older adults fall into during doctor visits. It often begins with good intentions, not wanting to bother anyone, trying to appear strong, or believing that pain and discomfort are just part of aging. You might find yourself saying, "It's nothing serious, it only hurts a little," or "I don't want to make a big deal out of it." These phrases may sound polite, but they can actually create serious barriers between you and the care you deserve. Doctors are not mind readers, they depend entirely on what you tell them to understand what's happening inside your body. When you soften the truth or leave out details, you're unintentionally making it harder for them to see the full picture. Imagine your body as a puzzle, and your words are the pieces that help the doctor put it together. If pieces are missing or blurred, the result will be incomplete and important signs might go unnoticed. Many seniors I've spoken with admit that they often hesitate to mention their pain because they don't want to seem like complainers. One woman in her 70s told me she had been living with back pain for months before finally mentioning it, and when she did, her doctor discovered it was an early sign of osteoporosis. Another friend, Helen, 78, ignored a constant tightness in her chest, assuming it was just old age catching up. She casually mentioned it during a checkup, and that single moment of honesty led to tests that revealed a serious heart issue that required immediate attention. She later said that if she had stayed quiet or brushed it off as nothing, she might not be here today. That's how powerful your voice can be. When you clearly describe what you feel, when it started, how strong it is, and how it affects your daily life, you're not complaining, you're giving your doctor the tools they need to protect your health. Every detail matters: how long the pain lasts, when it's worse, whether it keeps you up at night, or stops you from doing what you love. These specifics help the doctor find patterns and see the full story. Remember, your doctor's job is to help you, and being honest doesn't make you weak or difficult, it makes you wise and proactive. Aging doesn't mean you have to accept constant discomfort as normal. Sometimes, what feels small to you could be an early warning sign of something that's easier to treat now than later. So the next time you're tempted to stay quiet, remind yourself that speaking up isn't selfish, it's self-care. The more open and truthful you are, the better chance your doctor has to keep you healthy, independent, and living life on your terms. Your voice can literally be the difference between delay and discovery, between worry and relief, between fear and peace of mind. Speaking vaguely or unclearly. Speaking vaguely or unclearly is another common mistake that can quietly stand between you and the care you truly need. Many seniors, often without realizing it, use general phrases like, "I just feel off," "something doesn't feel right," or "it hurts," without describing exactly what's happening, when it happens, or how severe it feels. While those words might make perfect sense to you, they leave your doctor trying to fill in the blanks, and guessing is never safe when it comes to health. Doctors depend on clear, specific details to connect the dots and uncover what might be going wrong. When your words are too broad or uncertain, it's like giving them a blurry photograph when they need a sharp image to understand the full picture. This often happens not because someone doesn't care, but because it's hard to remember every detail once you're sitting in that exam room. The lights, the time pressure, and even the nervousness of talking about your health can make your mind go blank. But the more specific you can be, the faster your doctor can find the real cause and start the right treatment. I once had a friend named Robert, who was 81. He went to his doctor and said he felt weak lately. The doctor asked a few follow-up questions, but Robert couldn't recall whether the weakness came in the morning or evening, if it got worse after eating, or if it affected certain parts of his body. Because the picture was incomplete, the doctor didn't have enough information to take immediate action. Weeks later, when Robert's weakness became worse, further testing showed he had anemia, something that could have been treated sooner if he had been more precise from the start. That experience taught him an important lesson: vague words delay healing. Before your appointment, take a few minutes to write down what you're feeling. Ask yourself, when did this start? How does it feel, sharp, dull, throbbing, or burning? Does anything make it better or worse? How often does it happen? Does it interfere with your sleep, your appetite, or your daily activities? These simple notes can make a world of difference in helping your doctor pinpoint the cause. You don't have to use medical language, just describe things in your own words, but clearly and honestly. Think of your doctor as a detective and your details as the clues they need to solve the mystery of what's going on inside your body. When you give clear, specific information, you're not being demanding, you're being your own best advocate. It shows you care about your health and are willing to take an active role in protecting it. Remember, your doctor wants to help you, but they can only work with what they know. So, the next time you sit across that desk, take a deep breath, gather your thoughts, and speak clearly. Your voice, when used with clarity and confidence, can guide your doctor straight toward the answers that will keep you stronger, safer, and healthier for years to come. Not bringing a written list of concerns. Not bringing a written list of concerns to your doctor's appointment might seem like a small thing, but it can make a big difference in the quality of care you receive. Many seniors go into their visits thinking, "I'll remember everything I need to talk about," only to realize afterward that they forgot half of what was on their mind. This isn't because of memory problems, it's completely normal. Doctor visits can feel rushed, your attention gets pulled in different directions, and once the conversation starts, it's easy to lose track of what you wanted to say. Sometimes the doctor focuses on one issue, and before you know it, the appointment is over. Then, on the way home, you suddenly remember the questions or symptoms you didn't mention, the ones that had been worrying you the most. That feeling of regret or frustration can be avoided with one simple habit: writing things down before you go. Think of your list as a roadmap that keeps you focused, calm, and in control. A friend of mine, Margaret, learned this lesson the hard way. She went to her doctor to discuss her blood pressure medication but also wanted to mention her trouble sleeping and the dizziness she'd been feeling lately. Once she sat down in the exam room, the conversation went entirely toward the medication, and she forgot to bring up the other two issues. Weeks later, her dizziness worsened, and it turned out to be related to her blood pressure, something the doctor could have caught earlier if both concerns had been discussed together. Margaret told me she now always walks in with her notes in hand, no matter how small her worries may seem. And you know what? She says she feels more confident and heard than ever before. Bringing a written list doesn't just help you remember, it also helps your doctor stay organized and efficient. Doctors appreciate when patients come prepared because it allows them to understand your needs quickly and prioritize what's most urgent. Before your next visit, take a few quiet minutes to jot down every concern you have, big or small. Write them in order of importance, with the most serious or long-lasting symptoms at the top. Include questions like, is this normal for my age, or, could my medication be causing this? Keep the list simple, but clear. When you're in the appointment, hand it to your doctor or keep it in front of you to follow along. Even if there isn't enough time to cover everything in one visit, your doctor will know exactly what's on your mind and can plan to address the rest next time. Think of it as giving your health the attention it truly deserves, not leaving anything to chance or memory. You've lived long enough to know that preparation is power, and in this case, it could mean catching a problem early, avoiding unnecessary worry, or saving yourself another trip to the clinic. So, never underestimate the power of a simple piece of paper. It could be your strongest ally in getting the care, answers, and peace of mind you need. Assuming the doctor remembers everything about you. Assuming the doctor remembers everything about you is a mistake that many people make, often without realizing it. It's easy to think, they've been seeing me for years, of course, they know my history. But the truth is, most doctors see dozens of patients every week, each with their own stories, medications, test results, and health changes. Even the most caring and attentive doctor can't possibly recall every detail of every patient's life and condition. When you assume they remember everything, you might skip important updates or fail to mention new symptoms because you think they already know. This can lead to missed connections, delayed diagnoses, or even medication errors. Your health story is constantly changing. Maybe your diet is different now, you've started a new supplement, your sleep has changed, or you recently had a fall that didn't seem serious at the time. These small details may seem unimportant to you, but to a doctor, they can mean everything. I remember a senior named Helen who went to her regular doctor complaining of occasional shortness of breath. She assumed he'd recall her heart condition from years ago and didn't mention it again. But the doctor, juggling dozens of patient files, didn't immediately connect her symptoms to her past heart issues. A few months later, Helen was hospitalized for heart failure, something that could have been prevented if that one piece of information had been refreshed. After that experience, Helen made it a habit to start every appointment by giving a short summary, what medications she was taking, what had changed since her last visit, and what she was worried about now. She said it made her feel more in control, and her doctor appreciated it, too. Remember, it's not about doubting your doctor's skill, it's about being an active partner in your own care. Bring up your medical history, even if you think it's already in their notes. Mention every new symptom, medication, or supplement you've started, and don't assume they automatically remember when your last checkup or test was. Think of it like reminding a friend about an old story. Sometimes they need a little nudge to recall the full picture. Doctors are human too, and your reminders help them see the whole pattern of your health more clearly. When you keep the lines of communication open, you help your doctor connect today's symptoms with yesterday's conditions, and that's how real healing begins. So, before your next appointment, take a few minutes to write down your current medications, any changes in your lifestyle, and a short summary of your past health issues. Share it with your doctor at the start of your visit. It's a simple act of responsibility and self-care that can prevent big problems later. Remember, your doctor wants to help you, but you hold the key to the most complete and accurate story of your own body. Talking too much without letting the doctor lead. Talking too much without letting the doctor lead is a mistake that often comes from a good place, the desire to explain everything, to make sure nothing is missed, and to feel truly heard. After all, when it's your health on the line, it's natural to want to share every detail you can remember. But sometimes, in trying to be thorough, we end up overwhelming the doctor with too much information all at once. This can make it harder for them to find the real issue hidden beneath all the details. Doctors are trained to ask questions that lead them to the heart of the problem, but if you keep talking without giving them a chance to guide the conversation, they may struggle to follow the story or miss key points. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle while someone keeps moving the pieces around. That's what it feels like for a doctor when the conversation jumps from one topic to another without direction. A friend of mine, named Carol, once told me how she went to her doctor for joint pain but ended up talking about her sleep, her digestion, her neighbor's cat, and her grandson's wedding, all in the same breath. The doctor listened patiently but ran out of time before fully addressing her knee pain. Carol left feeling unsatisfied, realizing later that her main concern hadn't been resolved simply because she didn't let the doctor take the lead. That moment taught her something valuable: sharing is important, but focus is even more powerful. A good doctor knows how to ask questions that bring out what's truly important, but they need space to do that. Before your appointment, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you and your doctor are a team. You bring the experiences, and they bring the expertise to interpret them. Try starting with your main concern, the symptom or issue that's been bothering you the most. Then, give short, clear answers when the doctor asks questions, and pause to let them guide you. It's okay to keep notes with you so you don't forget other things you want to mention, but save them for later in the visit when the main issue has been discussed. If you find yourself talking too much, don't feel embarrassed, just gently refocus on the doctor's questions. This shows that you respect their time and expertise, and it helps them help you better. Remember, communication is not about how much you say, but how clearly you say it. The goal isn't to tell your whole life story. It's to make sure the doctor has the right information to understand what's happening with your health right now. So, speak openly, but also listen carefully. Trust that your doctor is trained to find the truth in your story if you give them the chance to ask, clarify, and connect the dots. In the end, being calm, focused, and allowing the doctor to lead doesn't mean you're giving up control. It means you're working together to find answers that truly make a difference. Change doesn't require a full personality overhaul. Take 3 small steps and you'll notice the difference. 1. Write down your top 3 concerns and the timeline for each before every visit. 2. Open with a 1-sentence summary of what's bothering you and any new medicines or events since your last appointment. 3. Answer clearly and briefly, and hand over the list so the doctor can guide the conversation. These tiny shifts give your doctor the information they need and give you back the confidence that your health is being taken seriously. Over time, these habits build a stronger bridge between you and your caregiver, and that bridge makes all the difference. The way you speak at the doctor's office shapes the care you receive more than most of us realize. This isn't about acting like an expert, it's about being your clearest, most honest self so the people caring for you can do their best work. Small changes, being specific, bringing a list, giving quick updates, and letting the doctor guide the flow, will help you walk out feeling heard, understood, and with a plan you actually trust. I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you'll try at your next appointment? Share it in the comments below. Your experience could help someone else take control of their health. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and consider subscribing to Timeless Wisdom Path to support more videos like this. Thank you for being here, take care, and stay confident on your journey.